Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity to speak directly to our public here in San Joaquin County and the rest of the state to let them know a few updates of what's going on with our mass shooting investigation. There's not a whole lot I'll be able to give you, not a lot of meat on the bone right now, unfortunately, as far as the details of what all the information they're going through, all the evidence that they're going through, and but I can give you a few things. So starting off, we now have determined with the help of ATF and the Department of Justice that there were over 50 shell casings that were found on scene at the scene of this birthday party. That means at least 50 rounds that went off at this birthday party. Along with that, so far we've been able to determine
50 shots, huh? Yeah, that's on par with what the lady was saying when she was describing the events, bro.
that there were at least 5 different firearms that were fired at this birthday party. A birthday party that killed 3 innocent children and a young adult. So as you can imagine, we have a lot to process with all that type of evidence and the detail that we need to go into to try and determine how many actors we had involved in this and how many people were actually shooting, because if there was 5 different firearms, that doesn't mean there were 5 different suspects. So we've had at least 50 plus tips come in on our tip line at the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office and Crime Stoppers. I would ask people to continue to provide information as they learn about this shooting, this mass murder, and to continue to help us on this.
5 different firearms. If you remember, they found some firearms on the roof, right? I said the exchange was gonna muddy up the investigation, or at least make it longer. They said they don't got nothing, basically, bro.
I want people to know that they can remain anonymous. And so when you give a tip at the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office, I just learned this myself the other day, you remain anonymous because it comes in, it goes through a third-party vendor, and then back to us, so that we have no access to who has called this in or who has given us a piece of video or whatever it is, the information that you have. We have no way of telling where that came from. It won't come out in court, it won't come out in our reports, because it's totally anonymous. So that's huge. If you're afraid to come forward on this, please come forward on this. Another thing I want to touch on is that there's been a lot of talk about whether this was gang related or not. And I've told you all along that we cannot determine whether this is gang related or not. Obviously, we know that there were known gang members at this party.
So it clearly sounds like the public ain't cooperating. They say the people at the party wasn't cooperating initially because, the police and the ambulance response it took so long that they was kind of like frustrated when they got there. And I think it just being a dangerous environment, people seeing that these people is willing to kill kids and this, that, and the third, they like, shit, they definitely gonna get me.
We do not know whether that was the reason or the motive of this shooting. So we're going to take our time and gather all our information and process it. We are blessed. We are partnering with ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives, with the FBI, with the U.S. Attorney's Office, with Stockton PD, obviously our DA's office, and my entire crew. And then every other agency in our county has offered services, all our state partners. I got off the phone with the commissioner of CHP last night, who has offered any assistance we need from them. So everyone is offering their assistance, and we're taking all the assistance that we need and can, and we'll access other in the future if need be. So I'm asking the public to be patient. I know this is going to be difficult, but this is not going to be in a week or two.
The internet definitely offering these assistance as well. Certain people is doing they want to, and just getting certain things from the grapevine, but I mean, certain things ain't really out. We don't know how true it is. We gonna listen up though.
We've got an answer and we start arresting people. You have to know that. Okay, this is going to take months to process all this, figure out who did this, because you've been asking me for descriptions on the people that did this. Well, the only information we're getting so far from the folks who were at the scene was that the people involved in this were dressed all in black and had face coverings. So all you could see was this. So that's why we haven't been asking for anything. But that doesn't mean we don't know who they are, or don't believe we know who they are, or might know who they are, or people might tell us that they think these people are involved. We just need to follow the evidence to prove who was there, who did this heinous act, and that's going to take a lot of time. But I am very confident in our investigators and with all the support that we have throughout the state and the federal government that we will come to a successful conclusion.
Now, it might take some time, bro, but they are going to do their due diligence. You hear how many collaborative efforts is going towards this shit? Yeah, everybody, this shit done made national news, bro. People is upset about them kids, bro, being involved in this shit. And you know, it's crazy because people, they speculate about, cause, you know, I know y'all been seeing the videos going around about somebody in a red sweater. And I knew that was some, bruh. Come on, bro. Nigga ain't wearing the same outfits to pull skid back to back. Feel me? But in this time, it wouldn't surprise you if they did, because anybody who commit any senseless, heinous acts like this, bro, has got some mental issues for sure.
You know, as we've seen just recently on the news, it took 5.5 years to find one guy who was putting out some pipe bombs in Washington, D.C., but they got him, and that's because they took their time and they processed their evidence and they followed the evidence as it came in. So I don't think it's going to take us 5 years, but if it does, then we'll work it for 5 years. But I think we'll be able to come to a successful resolution by doing the same thing, processing it, taking our time, and being very, very accurate about the information that we come through, the evidence that comes up, and how we deal with it. So I'll take some questions if you have some.
If I could just start with asking, based on what you just said, it doesn't mean you don't know who it is. Would you be able to tell us, do you think you know who it is? And also, with a week gone by now and no suspect descriptions released, with surveillance cameras, flock cameras, images available to your investigative unit, what is the strategy behind not releasing any images?
Well, a couple different questions there, but I think your one point that the images are available, but that doesn't mean we've had the time to go through the thousands of hours of images or cameras or things like that to possibly identify somebody. Have we had tips come in with names and things like that? Absolutely. You know, people online have been saying things like that as we've been following those. But we need to be able to prove those type of things. And so we can't say right now that, yes, we definitely know who these people were. But we have a tremendous amount of leads that is going to take a tremendous amount of time to go through and slowly narrow it down and catch these guys.
Sheriff, you mentioned 5 firearms discovered at the scene, but you said you don't know if you're looking for 5 suspects.
So you hear that, bro? They ear to the streets for sure. And people is calling in, giving up names, this, that, and the third. So, I mean, like he said, they got to process this shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I could understand somebody, like, being like, well, go over the footage immediately. Like, go over that first. Fuck everything else. Look at the footage.
Can you confirm if people inside the birthday party were shooting back at the suspects, and whether or not the firearms found on a roof of a nearby building are those same firearms?
I can tell you, first of all, let me correct one thing. I didn't say that we found 5 firearms on scene. I said it was the shell casings. Tell us that there were at least 5 firearms, maybe more, because we're still processing those. And and we did find firearms on top of the roof. I do not know if ATF has tied that to these shell casings as being some of the firearms that were discharged there yet. But we have at least 5 firearms that we know were used. It doesn't mean that we have them in our possessions. All that evidence came off of the shell casings at the scene at this time.
Can you confirm that the people inside the party, whether or not they were shooting back at the suspects?
I cannot confirm that at this time. We have, detailed evidence that we collected at the scene and trajectories and all that has to be gone through, and they, at some time during this investigation, we will be able to determine what direction those rounds were traveling, and that will give us information of where shooters were standing and what direction they were shooting.
Are you able to say what kind of weapons may have been used in this? And also, I had a different question. I know that the sheriff's office has decided not to publicize the names of the victims. The families have. I just wanted to see why you guys did that decision.
Okay. We are not going to talk about the caliber or the type of firearms that were used in this, and we're not publicizing the names right now. It's really not my place. The medical examiner is the one who deals with the families and the deceased. That we used to do that as coroners. We don't do that anymore. And
Now, bruh, this some tricky shit. First off, right? Let's think about it, right? So if they say they didn't get all the firearms, it seems like that their main focus is catching these people who killed these kids for sure, right? You could say that, but then you like, hold on, well, but y'all arrested two of the people who was alleged victims, right? Or at the targets or whatever have you. You get what I'm saying? So I could understand why she asking a question like, okay, well, are y'all gonna be trying to figure out like who was shooting back, and is all that a part of this case, or is y'all main focus these kids? To me, it sounds like it's the kids, bro. And I can't knock them. I like they was the first thought. That's self-defense.
So, I'm very cautious about that. I've known over the years when I used to be a deputy coroner to be very cautious about mentioning names and things like that. And so I'm going to leave that up to the families and the loved ones to make sure that all their loved ones have been notified and nobody gets traumatized even more because they didn't know a family friend, a loved one, a family member was a victim of this case.
Sheriff, the thousands of hours of video, I imagine some of it is surveillance. What other sources have you gotten video from, whether it's from people, from businesses? Where's the video coming from?
As you know, nowadays, we're all on camera all the time. So we're accepting video evidence and gathering video evidence from every possible location that we can. So as you can imagine, we'll obviously try and find video evidence around the scene of the crime, and out from there, we'll take video evidence from anyone who will send it in on our tip line. You can download it there, again, anonymously, and we'll go through that frame by frame to see anything that we can out. So you can imagine there's going to be a tremendous amount of video to go through, and our federal partners at the FBI and our guys and Stockton PD and DAI, we're all going through that as quick as possible to try and start narrowing the scope of this investigation down.
We have time for one more question.
Bruh, you know them cameras can follow you all the way back to your damn house, bruh. They'll follow you, bruh.
Follow up on what you just said. So there is a lot of video evidence, but I believe you said in your initial response to me that you haven't been able to go through it all. It's been a week.
Yeah.
Have you been able to identify these suspects on video at any point following the shooting?
I'm unaware of whether they've identified anyone at this time as being part of that shooting on that video evidence. Now, that doesn't mean that we think that somebody might have been involved in this or something like that, but at this time, I have not been briefed on anyone particular being identified via video evidence at this time. And one last one.
Shots were fired into the house across the street during the event. Did that suggest people at the party returned fire?
It could or it could not. We're going to have to look into that, and it could be as the guys are turning to run away. They could be firing. Who knows?
I was thinking that same shit, bro. So it don't sound like they got much evidence, right? Well, it sounds like they got a lot of evidence, but they trying to keep it close, which is it could be a good tactic. It could work, right? I could understand why the public how we gonna help? You know what I'm saying? Type shit. They wanna know some details, and whatever, how you, but this ain't no regular shit. Yeah, this somebody is getting a chair, bro. Somebody going down for this shit, bro. Whether or not you can kick it, make it, do whatever you want, bro. Hey, and you see they just found somebody in Mexico the other day. I forget his name, bro. Killed somebody over a parking spot, bro. Went to hide out in Mexico. Went right over there and got his head. So I'm just saying, bro, it's a matter of time. You know, we gonna definitely keep up with these matters. Y'all niggas let me know what y'all think. Say, yo, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say, yo, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say, ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later.